In today's video, I'll show you how you can optimize your Wix blog to increase your organic traffic. So if you already have a Wix blog and you're struggling to get organic traffic towards your website, then this will be the perfect video to watch because I'll be showing you all of the steps you need to follow in order to optimize your website and increase your organic traffic. Now, there are a couple of things you should consider when you are optimizing your Wix website and when you're making your post and what type of topics you should cover. So it's really important that you watch this video throughout if you actually want to increase your organic traffic from Google and other search engines as well. With that being said, this is a very beginner-friendly tutorial, so you don't need to be worried at this point. I'll be walking through everything in a very straightforward manner, and if there's anything you don't know how to do and if you're a bit confused about anything, just leave it in the comments and I'll try to do my best to get back to your specific comments. Now, with that being said, let's just jump into today's tutorial and hopefully you guys do enjoy. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is just make sure we head over to our blog on Wix. So if you already have a blog, that's great, but as I said, if you don't already have a blog on Wix, make sure you go to my channel and watch the tutorial on how to get started with your first blog on Wix. With that being said, if you are familiar with Wix, this is essentially where you create all your blog posts and where you manage your whole blog as a whole. What we're going to focus on in this specific tutorial is just the blog posts, not any of the About Us pages or your homepage or any of those other pages that you have on your website, just the blog posts themselves. Now, with that being said, I already do have some sample posts here that are just imported with a template that I just created for this website right here. But the first thing we want to do here is create a new blog post. So I'm just going to click on create a new blog post here, or I can just do it in the corner. It doesn't really matter. And as you can see, this is going to be our blog post in general. You'll have your title and then just your body content of this article. So in here, you'll just put your text, and up here, you'll just have your title. As simple as that. Now, at this point, you should already know about this, but I'm just going to walk everything through as beginner friendly as I can. When you start off your blog, the very first thing you want to do is make sure you find the right topic for your specific blog. Now, this might seem very simple in the beginning. A lot of people tend to just write an article about whatever, and they'll just add the title as just something random that they think sounds great, but they don't have any data to back it up, that people actually search for this topic, that people are actually interested in this topic. And that is going to be super important if you actually want people to visit your blog and if you want people to actually read your blog post, because people will just read what they're interested in, not what you are interested in or what you might think that people are interested in. So how do we actually back this up with data? Well, the first thing we have to do is do our keyword research, and you can use multiple different tools for this. There are a bunch of different tools. There are free ones, there are paid ones. There are a bunch of different options. The ones I like to go and use myself are going to be SEMRush. And if you watched my channel before, we always talk about SEMRush. And I also like Google Keyword Planner. So we're going to walk through these two tools real quick, and we'll just get an idea of what type of topics we could write about in our specific blog. So starting off with SEMRush right here, and if you don't want to use SEMRush, you can skip in the video. I'll probably put timestamps, so if you want to jump to, let's say, the Keyword Planner, you can just jump to the Keyword Planner section and just watch that one as well. But that being said, in SEMRush, you can just sign up for an account, and then you can, SEMRush is a paid tool as well, so I'm just saying that here and now. But if you want to sign up for SEMRush, there will be a link down in the description as well. So I do get some kickback when you sign up for or through my links. I do appreciate it if you do it. But yeah, this is going to be a paid tool. It's more detailed than the Google Keyword Planner, but both of them work just as good. But SEMRush, as I said, is my preferred tool. But with that being said, what we want to go to within SEMRush, as you can see, there's a bunch of different things in here that you can actually do, like keyword gap and so much more. But let's not get into that. I'm not going to make it too advanced, but the keyword magic tool will be where you can actually find a lot of different keywords by just searching your way through whatever topics you want to write about. Now in here, you can see that we have different countries in here. So we have the US, United Kingdom, Australia, and a bunch of other countries as well. So the reason why you want to pick your country here or your target market is because the keywords or whatever people are searching for, so whatever topics people are interested in, is obviously going to be different in different countries. People might be interested in the new iPhone 12 in the US, but the iPhone 13 in the UK. In Australia, it might be a totally different topic. So make sure that you select the country you're writing your article for. And if you're doing it globally, I would just recommend you to use the US, all the English speaking countries. So maybe US, UK, Australia, and maybe New Zealand in there as well. Just so you get some spread on your keywords, you can have a better idea of where you can meet all the different, or the whole audience in the middle, basically. But with that being said, let's just start with the US. So my blog is a tech blog, let's say. So what I would recommend you to do is just start with something simple that you want to write about. So let's say we want to write about the iPhone 13. So let's just go ahead and search for iPhone 13 and let's see what people are actually searching for. So in here we have iPhone 13. We can see that it got a search volume of 2.7 million. By just putting iPhone 13 as your title or what you're gonna write about, it's not really gonna work, because even ranking for iPhone 13 wouldn't even be possible for a blog post, because majority of the websites that rank for iPhone 13, now keep in mind a lot of these will be in Swedish, but I can translate them real quick. Majority of the websites that are ranking for iPhone 13 is gonna be sites which are selling the iPhone 13. And this is because the search intent behind the keyword iPhone 13 is a purchase intent. When people are searching iPhone 13, they're not looking for an article, they're looking for a place where they can purchase the iPhone 13. And Google understands this because users are evolving the search results on here. So if more people end up clicking on the sites that sell the iPhone 13, Google picks that up and only ranks the websites that meet that search intent. So that is the basis of this. So if we were to write an article just with the title iPhone 13, we would never, ever be able to rank for iPhone 13 in here. Because as you can see, all of these sites are just selling the iPhone 13. Now, if we did a price comparison, like this website right here, which is a Swedish price comparison website, we might actually be able to rank, right? Because this is still a purchase intent behind it. But keep that in mind, we would never be able to rank our blog on here. So what we might actually do here is try to look for longer keywords. So longer or long tail keywords, as you usually refer to it as, are longer keywords, and longer keywords are usually questions, which is also a great starting point for an article, because it can be, why is the iPhone 13 not in green? You can write an article about that. Or why is the iPhone 13 not sold in this specific country? So there's a bunch of different keywords we can look for, which are actually long tail keywords, and that would be a lot more relevant for a blog post in comparison to all these keywords, which in most cases, I think all of these cases, release date, actually, that is a good blog type content right here. And in SEMRush as well, what you do have is the intent right here. So the I is actually informational. Now iPhone 13, I wouldn't say this is informational intent. So these are just automatically, there's no individual going through these. So some of them might be incorrect, but the iPhone 13 release date, I can agree this is an informational keyword because people just want to know when the release date is. Now with that being said, let's just go ahead and search by long tail keywords instead. Another thing I'm just going to mention here, in SEMRush you have keyword difficulty. So this is going to be how hard each individual keyword is to rank for. As you can see, these are very, very competitive. Usually you have an idea if it's competitive or not just looking at the search volume. And if you're just starting out, having a search volume of 10 or 20 or 30 could be a great keyword because you will still have 10, 20 or 30 visitors coming into your website a month, let's say. But with that being said, let's go to the long tail keywords. You have questions over here. Questions are usually the better ones. So let's see what we got. So how to turn off iPhone 13. That could be a great article to write, although the keyword difficulty here is still very high. So we have one which is really very low here. Is the iPhone 13 waterproof. So we have 14,800 searches a month. You can see that it's increasing in the past few months, I believe. And it just has a keyword difficulty of 46. Now 46 is still relatively high if you're just starting out, but keywords like this will be a great starting point if you are trying to write an article, or if you want to find a topic for a blog or a blog post. So if you want to find a topic to write about, I would recommend you do your keyword research first, then find out what people are searching for. In this case, is the iPhone 13 waterproof? Could be a great article for us to write. I totally forgot to cover Google Keyword Planner, so my bad. So this is recorded after the video is done, so it doesn't make sense for you, but anyway. So for the Google Keyword Planner, what you do is you just Google it, you'll find this page right here. You basically do the same thing. You add a keyword in here. So if we're looking for iPhone 13, we can do so. We can select the language and the country, then just go ahead and click on get results. Once we get our results, we'll see something similar to this. Very similar to what we have on SEMRush. We're missing a lot of data in terms of intent and some additional information, but other than that, you'll still have the information that you need in here. So iPhone 13, iPhone Pro Max, we can see the search volume here. Now it's still in Swedish. I think it's already in English, but this is keyword difficulty, but it's not organic keyword difficulty. This is actually paid difficulty. So you don't have to look at this. It's not going to be relevant for you if you're doing SEO. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Other than that, what you do is just basically the same thing. Look through here for the keywords that you want to look at. We can sort it by highest search volume, the lowest search volume. Lowest search volume obviously going to be the easier ones to rank for. So just have a look around, see what keywords you find, and that will kind of give you an idea of similarly to what we did on SEMRush as well. So I'm just going to copy this keyword, and this could actually be a perfect title as well for the article as well. We don't really have to make any major changes to this. So it's the iPhone. I think you write iPhone like this, iPhone 13 waterproof, and you might actually want to capitalize all of these just to make it a bit more, or make it stand out a little bit more, but that's just preference, doesn't really matter. But in terms of the title here, what's important is that we include our main keyword. So if this is our main keyword, we want to make sure that the main keyword is included in the title of our blog post. Now we can also add other things in here as well. So I can do is the iPhone 13 waterproof? I don't know, let's say in 2022. It doesn't really make any sense, but if you wanted to change this title and just add things at the end or in the beginning, like we take a look at if the, that doesn't make any sense either, but you kind of get my point. We still have the keyword in here, and then we add another section here at the beginning. So you can kind of play around with this. Just make sure you have the actual keyword itself included in the title of the blog post. Cool. Now we figured out what we want to write about. So this is the iPhone 13 waterproof. Now the next step I would recommend you to walk through is just making sure that the blog post that you have is structured correctly. Now the way to figure this out is by essentially doing some research first, because it's important to understand what other people are doing with these specific keywords. So if we wanted to look at this keyword and see what type of blogs or sites are ranking and how they're structuring their content, just go ahead, search that keyword and have a look at who's ranking number 1 and in the top maybe 5 positions, and just let's see what they are saying. So the one that's ranking number 1 right here is Mac Rumors. I think this will be hard to outrank, but you never know. So we can have a look. Apple did not mislead customers about iPhone 13 water resistance, federal judge rules. So as you can see, this is kind of like a news article type of thing where they're just going through. I guess there was some controversy about the waterproofing on the iPhone. So this is something that people are interested in, obviously, and you can see how the text is structured. Now this doesn't look very user-friendly to me. It's very hard to read this text. It doesn't have a lot of graphics or anything interesting on it. So in terms of design of this website, it's not great, but obviously I think this is more like a industry website, which people usually refer to. But with that being said, just make sure you look at these tops. So let's have a look here. LiveWire is the iPhone 13 waterproof. So here we got another one. As you can see, they have the straight keyword here at the top, and then they've added another subtitle down here as well. Not quite, but it's splash and water resistant. And then they're just going through, and as you can see, this is a bit more user friendly. They have a bit of a touch of color in here, and they have a bullet point list here. Another one, they have some additional titles within the blog post, which just makes it easier to read through. And they, yeah, just in general, a lot better. And then you're gonna have an FAQ section here, which makes this website able to rank for the FAQs as well, which is another thing we might cover in an upfollowing video. I'm not gonna cover it in this video, but yeah, they have an FAQ section here as well. So this blog post is obviously great. If I was writing about this topic, I would probably look at this one as an inspirational standpoint and just try to write something similar to this. But just jumping back to the website once again, let's just copy this article. Please don't sue me, LifeWire. I'm just doing this as educational purposes. But this, let's say this is our article right here. Then once you're done writing your article and just making sure that it fits the actual keyword, so it actually is relevant to the keyword, then you're pretty much ready to go in terms of the blog post. Another thing I would recommend you to do is just add some additional keywords within the blog post as well. So is the iPhone 13 waterproof is our main keyword, but there might be other keywords which are relevant to this specific keyword. So what we can do is just search this keyword, is the iPhone 13 waterproof, and then we'll get some additional keywords in here which are relevant to this. We can also do this on all, we don't have to look at questions. So is the iPhone 13 Pro Max waterproof? That's another question we could cover. Also still, it has 2,400 in search volume. Down here we have some additional ones which a bit less search volume, usually easier to rank for, but I think the keyword difficulty for anything related to iPhone is just going to be generally high. So keep that in mind. All of these are a bit increased than they normally are. But how waterproof is iPhone 13 is another one. Is the new iPhone 13 waterproof? How waterproof? So we do have some additional ones in here, and what we could do is just add these keywords as well as part of the blog post. So then we could also rank for some additional keywords, even though they might not have the same search volume as the main keyword. They will still add extra relevancy to our blog post and also make it easier for users to find the blog post in general. And if we start ranking for, let's go back here. Let's say we start ranking for this keyword here at the bottom with 40 in search volume, because most likely we're not going to rank for our main keyword straight away because it has too high search volume, and I think it will be just very difficult to rank for this specific keyword. But if we start ranking for, let's say, the easier keywords first, and users are starting to interact with our blog post, with the page itself, and with the website, that will send additional signals to Google that users are actually interested in this article, and they might start pushing it to is the iPhone 13 waterproof? So that is another reason why it's important that you also include less competitive keywords within the article itself. With that being said, we can jump back to our article. This is going to be how our article looks like. Now it's not really formatted. We have some additional spaces down here. It looks a bit weird, but I think in general, this is fine. I'm not going to publish this anyway. But once we are done with the structure of the website itself, what we want to make sure we incorporate in here as well is going to be some rich media. So with rich media, all we really want to add in here is going to be images, videos, podcast. If you have a podcast episode covering is iPhone 13 waterproof, embed this here on the page itself, because that will make users stay longer on the website. And the longer users stay on the website, the happier Google is, because Google, if you're staying longer on the website, Google will understand that, and that will tell Google, okay, this page actually has relevant content. In comparison, if I go to, let's say I go back to search results. So let's say I click on LifeWire, I see the page and I'm just straight away disappointed with the content. I'll just click back to Google. Google will understand that. And that will send a bad signal to Google telling Google that users are not interested in this specific article. It will start to push that page down eventually, not just from one user doing it, but when a lot of users are doing the same thing, that will decrease the value of that specific article. So it's important that users are staying on your page for a long time, so you can do it, but just making it more engaging, maybe adding a comment section where people can stay for a bit longer, just writing their comments, or just adding rich media such as videos on here. And if we want to add, let's say, a video, let's say we add the video up here, we can just click the plus button right here, and then we can have, let's see here, image, we have video, and then we can add GIFs in here as well. So let's say we add a GIF. So let's say iPhone 13 water. Let's see if we get anything. Nothing really relevant, but what if we just do water in here? Phone and water, maybe. Yeah, there you go. Now this is not the iPhone 13, but you get the idea. Like, you're just making this article get, okay, it's maybe not the best GIF to add in here, but you get the idea. Just adding additional media in here just makes it more engaging. So we could do the same thing down here. So if we wanted to add, let's say, I'll just do it this way. Let's say we wanted to add a video here. And then I think I saw a video on one of these websites somewhere. Maybe not. Okay, let's say, is the iPhone 13 waterproof? This is not our video, but let's say if this was our video, we could just add this here. And then we would have additional, like, a video in here. And some people don't want to read, they want to watch an actual video instead, which is why you're watching this video right now. But we could add a video in here as well, and that will increase that engagement on our page. So I think now this is actually a lot more engaging. It has a lot of good content on here, which thanks to Livewire for the content. Once we're done with this, we want to make sure that we implement our alt tags. We don't have any images on here. We do have a GIF, but other than that, we don't really have an image. But let's just add an image in here. So in case you do have an image on your page, let's see if we can implement this real quick. As you go, media from Wix, they should have an iPhone 13 image. And they do, maybe not. Okay, let's say this was the image we wanted to use. Once you have the image on the page, you want to make sure you update the alt tag. The alt tag is essentially what's going to describe what the image is about to Google. So by creating or updating or optimizing the alt tag or alt text of this image, we can make sure that Google knows what this image is about. So if this image, that was the wrong thing. If this image is related to the article, is the iPhone 13 waterproof, and let's say this was an image of an iPhone that was in water, for example, we could add our keyword as the alt text in here. Ideally, you want to make sure that the alt text describes what the image is about. Now, this is not really relevant to this specific image, but if this image was relevant to this specific keyword, this would be super relevant to add as the alt text in here. And the reason why you want to add alt text once again is because this will be how you'll be able to rank for the images in Google. So once again, if I go to pictures here, all of these images, like this one, which is a video, you can see this is relevant to that search term, and this is how Google picks that up. So if you add your alt text, increase the likeliness of you ranking your images for that specific keyword. And if someone, let's say, goes on here, clicks on the image, that will take them to the article. So this is just going to be an additional way for you to actually get traffic towards your website, because a lot of people are using Google Images. And if you want users that way, this is going to be the best way to do it. And on top of that, it also adds relevancy to the page overall. So we'll just make the website or the page better overall. Once that is done, we can just go ahead and click save. And now we have an alt text to this image. And just want to make sure you do that to all your images on this specific blog post. Moving on, we also want to add internal links. So internal links are going to be super important, because internal links will send the authority of different pages to other pages, and also make it easier for the Google crawler the Google spider in some cases, will make it easier for Google to find all your different pages. Because let's say if Google was on this article right here, scrolled through this page, we have some links, but I don't think they're internal links, they're just going towards resources. Google will not have a way to find other content that you have on your website. But I think this one was an internal link to their website, but this is actually a great example. So this right here, clean your phone, is a link. which is to a LiveWire website. So this is an internal link that they have implemented in their article. But what we could do here in this specific internal link is that we want to make sure that we link to an article where we are talking about how to clean a phone, how to clean your iPhone, what is the best way to clean your iPhone. So we want to make sure we add those internal links to the article itself. And by doing it by using the right anchor text. So a text that describes the destination link the best. So if we do have, let's say here, let's see if we have any good examples. I'm not really finding any good examples here, but let's say, for example, we had, is the iPhone better than the Samsung? Or is iPhone better than Samsung, let's say. So let's say we have an article which is talking about this topic right here. If we implement this anchor text in the article itself, we can then add an additional internal link to this specific article as well. So what we can do is just add a link here. We can do it as a web address here. Then want to make sure you get the URL to that specific page or post on your website. Just add it in here and don't do it open in a new tab because it's on the same website. Once that is done, just click save, and then you have an internal link, which also is relevant to where that link is taking the user, because it describes well where you're actually going to go. In most cases, what people do, they do click here or read more here. Don't use those internal links or anchor text. Make sure you're describing the destination really well, because it also helps Google understand what the destination link is about. And just increase that relevancy towards that specific page. Cool, now we have a couple of things left. We just have the basics left. So now we're just gonna jump over to the settings over here. So we have SEO, as you can see. So if you click on SEO here, we have our SEO settings, which they make sound very specific, but this is just general settings overall. We're gonna have the URL slug. This will be, let's see here, this is gonna be the URL slug of this specific page. The URL slug should describe the post really well, or at least include the keyword of the article, the main keyword of the article. So as you can see, our URL slug is already updated because it's based on the title that we added. But in case you added some additional things in the title right here, you might want to update the URL slug. So just make sure it just includes the actual main keyword itself. So the URL slug is the iPhone 13 waterproof. Perfect, we don't have to make any changes here. Then we have the title tag of this page, and the title tag is going to be, I'm just going to go back to the search result. This is going to be the title tag of your specific page. So basically what you'll see in the Google search results and also in the tab up here. So as you can see, we have all the title tags here as well. So basically what you want to do in the title tag is just make sure you catch users' attention. You want to make sure you stand out in comparison to everyone else here in the Google search results. So look at what other users or other websites are writing in their title tags, and make sure you find something unique that you can add to your title tag. In most cases, this is going to be the thing that you want to test the most. So what I would recommend you to do is add a title tag and let it sit there for maybe 1 or 2 months. And then you can go in Google Search Console, compare the click-through rate, and then when you add a new title tag, you can see if the click-through rate increases or decreases, and then you can just make optimizations based on data. Now, this is going to be hard if you don't have enough traffic, but just keep that in mind, that is something you can do. The title tag can always be updated, but don't update it too much. Leave it for at least a couple of months. If it doesn't do well, create something new, try something new. There's multiple different things you can do in here, but just make sure it's catching people's attention and make people want to actually click on the page itself or the result itself. Then for the meta description, this is not going to be a ranking factor itself, but a meta description should at least describe what the article is about, what the article will cover. So once you are in the search result, you'll have somewhat of an idea of what this article will cover. So as you can see right here, we have a meta description, which I don't think is their official meta description. I think this is just taken by Google. So in some cases, Google will update your meta description and your title tag without you even knowing. They'll just do it automatically and test what works the best for you. This is not something you'll actually notice yourself. But yeah, as you can see, this is what Google decided was the best result. So maybe something similar to what is right here could be a great meta description for you to add on your page as well. Now that is going to be it for this tutorial. I think in advance, we don't really have anything we want to add in here, but yeah, structured data, as I mentioned, we can make sure that our FAQs also rank in Google as well, but that's going to be covered in a different video, and I think I do have it covered in another Wix related video on my channel as well. So if you want to learn more about these settings right here, make sure you head over to the channel. But I think this is going to be it. Once your page or blog post is ready to be launched, just make sure you click on publish, and then this will be ready to go. So we can probably preview this real quick, and there we go. There's the iPhone 13 waterproof. We got our little GIF in here, we have our video, and then we have our images and the text itself, and I think it looks great, to be honest. I think it's perfect. So that's going to be the basics of how to do SEO on your Wix website. And that is going to be it for today's tutorial. Hopefully you guys did learn something new. And at this point, you should have all the knowledge you need in order to start optimizing and creating great content for your Wix blog. If you did enjoy the video, also make sure to leave a like down below, because it really does help me when you do leave a like down below. And if you don't like the video, just leave a dislike. I appreciate that as well. If you have any comments, as I said in the beginning of the video, also make sure you leave your comments down below, and I'll try to get back to your comments as soon as I can. Also, if you want more content around Wix SEO or just SEO or marketing in general, make sure you are subscribed to this channel by clicking the subscribe button down below as well. With that being said, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the very next video here on the channel.